Let's get started. Welcome to the Inner Room with Out of My Damn Mind. This is a space where walls fall away, where stories don't just get told, they land messy, real, and alive. Here, writers open the door to what drives them, what haunts them, and what keeps them going. Every voice has its own rhythm, its own scars, its own sparks, and together we trace the thread that hold us, break us, and connect us all. I am like super, super, super flattered, and that's why I fumbled my own intro because I have the privilege to interview. Let's Get Unstuck, also known as Traci. I don't think you've done one of these, have you? So thank you for joining me today.
I don't know. I'm just like a big smile of nerves. It's like I've done a couple of them, but every time I do them, I just see myself and I'm like, don't fumble up here. Make sure you answer your questions correctly. Don't make stupid mistakes.
There's no such thing as stupid mistakes, and all of these questions are always answered correctly because as long as you say them honestly, we'll be good. But thank you everybody for joining. Rosemary, Alexi, Nick, Midwest Lifestyles. I'm super excited too. I'm kind of geeking out a little bit because like I've watched, and coincidentally, yes, the Knicks are playing right now. By the way, Nick says, "What's up?" That hat is money. Yeah, well, you're the hat girl. You're the hat.
We just had this conversation.
Anna said, "Hey guys, hello. I have such bad service. I hope I don't drop this. I mean, if you do come back, we'll be here for a little bit. I'm not kicking anybody out right now. So,
and we know where to find you, Anna.
We do, all the way up in Canada where it's even colder than it is here right now. I'm sure you're on having some good weather over there.
I don't really want to put that out there for the rest of this
but
world.
I'm sure you are. It's okay. The Northeast fucking sucks right now with all the damn snow and freezing. But
it was 70 today in San Diego, and I'm in a sweater. So I'm the asshole. I know.
No, you're not. San Diego is the most beautiful place on earth because it's like you don't even need AC. Just open your window, no humidity. It's beautiful there. That's what I hear, anyways.
That's true,
right? So I'm kind of just jealous that I didn't even know that you lived in San Diego before this little moment. So I'm like, damn, my sister's going there in March for a flag football tournament.
Get out. That's amazing.
Yeah, it is. I'm not going, but it is for her. My nephew does a lot of flag football, so it allows them to travel and see other states. And this is, an opportunity to get to the West Coast. So that's cool for them.
Are they coming to San Diego? For sure. Mm-hmm. Like, you were going to have to, I don't know where they're going to be. It's
USA flag. It's a USA flag thing. So I have no idea. I'll eventually get there. But before we go too off the rails, I do want to start with some questions. So Anna. I have allowed some co-hosts to pick like their own questions by picking a number from 1 to 20, or I can just kind of say them as I feel willing. So it's up to you.
You just dive in because not one of those numbers is a lucky number.
1 to 20?
23 is my number.
Oh my God. Well, with that being said, then, if your life had a theme song right now, what would it be?
Don't Stop Believing just came up.
Oh, I love that for us.
I love that for us.
For you specifically, but I love that was the song that you just said.
I told myself if questions were going to come up that you have to have that like 3 to 5 seconds in you to just make it right, like answer it. Don't think on it, because if I sat and thought on it, we'd be here for a very long time. But that's exactly what came out.
Like I love that, and it's like you're like the only person I know that can say that title without singing it. Because I feel like anytime I would say that, I would be in full like song mode. Like it'd be "Don't Stop Believing."
I've like literally tuned you out for like 10 seconds, and that's exactly what was happening in my head. And I was like, "Hold on to that feeling."
Like, Nick says I definitely sing it, so I know that I'm not the only one, and I can appreciate that very much.
Amazing.
Hold on, that feeling. Yeah. So I love that. Do you any specific reason why? Is there something that you're believing in right now?
I think it's based on just our little chit chat from earlier where, I've started concepts previously, and anytime things got hard, I would just self-sabotage things and give up. And finally, I've found this project that's this something, I found this purpose in me out there because of what I've been working on. And it's given me such this, like, it's just given me this, like, happiest place inside. And, like, I was in even on a business meeting today, I was talking to my buddy. He's like, "What are you doing now?" I'm like, "Dude, I'm doing all kinds of this live and blogging and all this stuff." And he's like, "What are you talking about?" And I was like, "Well, it's, getting unstuck." And he's like, "What does that mean?" And I was just like, I go, I've been stuck for so long in my life. I go, and I finally figured out something that gave me purpose. I'm like, and from finding this purpose in my life, I'm like, it's opened up all these other things. I said that have excited me, and I love writing and talking about it. And so, Don't Stop Believing is just comes up because it's like, I believe in this, and and I won't give up on something because I like to self-sabotage things from previous experiences.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of us can relate to everything you just said, though. Like, I'm sure that there have been a couple of people in our chat that have attempted to start something and then something didn't go exactly according to plan and then was like, you know what? This is too hard. I'm just going to go back to this or whatever. Um, so good little segue to Let's Get Unstuck because I actually love your name.
Thanks.
Obviously, a lot of people that do follow you are well aware of how you picked it, why you picked it. But why don't you give some background behind how it all kind of happened?
I don't know why it made me bashful.
I mean, I
Um,
have that effect. I'm just kidding.
you do, you made me rosy. No, I I genuinely, it was the most simplistic moment because I had been in fighting internally, if you will, about, what's next in life. And I don't have children. I don't know what I'm gonna do, and I don't have any purpose. Like, I don't even know what I'm supposed to love or like to do outside of just loving my husband and loving my puppy and loving my family and friends. But, like, there was just so much internal blockage going on inside, and I didn't know why, and it was driving me nuts. And I finally, out of nowhere, my podcast, or excuse me, my Instagram feed just started flooding with podcasts. Like, I wasn't looking for any. And the first one that I clicked on was the one of Mel Robbins and Jay Shetty talking about the purpose of life. I forget the title, but purpose and life were in there. And I'm like, this is me. I need to, I'm trying to figure all of this out. Just speak to me. And then what I literally clicked on the segment, the part of the episode where Jay Shetty starts talking about being stuck and how you're stuck on and it's not that you're stuck, but you're I don't know how he says it, but he's like, you're kind of stuck on a version of your old self.
Yeah.
And that really hit with me because, years ago when I was working in a certain 10-year of this business I was in, I felt like I was valued. I had value. I felt like I had so much to offer. I felt like I was, creating concepts and building things and building businesses with really amazing people. And when that came crashing down, I lost my entire identity. Like, I didn't know who I was, and it's because so much of me was given to the person who was my boss mentor, who ran the company. I put them on such a high pedestal that I didn't realize that I completely buried who I was.
Do you
And
remember how old you were?
yeah, oh yeah, God, I started with her, we'll call her her. I started with her when I was 30, and, the relationship ended, not on my terms, but I'm glad it ended, when I was 40.
So yeah, it was a whole decade of your
A
life.
whole decade, yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
The only reason I ask is because obviously I've been very open about my 16-year career with PetSmart and then
Wow.
last year just being dismissed of my store managerial duties and remembering like, okay, well, what do I do now? Like
Mm,
my entire adult life from 20 to 36 has been this. And everybody knows me as like the animal person or the dog person or like the PetSmart person. So who am I outside of this? What do I actually know how to do that's not selling dog food or cleaning a rat's cage? Like like, so to hear that you
mhm,
had your own little shakeup of loss within our work, kind of I think that's what intrigued me the most about
mm.
what you do here and, your purpose for Let's Get Unstuck because I think it's obviously really re resonating within me, but a lot of people, everybody can relate to it. We've all had a series in our life where we overgave and everything to a certain part of something that we lost ourselves in it, and it's
100%.
it's super hard to fucking remember who the fuck we are once you've gone through all the somersaults of somebody else's crap.
Well, I mean, and the reality is, you know, being stuck doesn't being stuck and getting unstuck, it's different for every single person. Like, I mean,
Right.
there's no, and that's why, you know, I think my whole, not my whole life, but like in my career path, people have been like, I can't pigeonhole you to anything. Like you're so dimensional. You can do so much. And it's like, and I think that it's just kind of weird how Let's Get Unstuck kind of comes around because it isn't one lane. It is so dimensional. There are so many layers to being stuck, getting unstuck. What does it look like for me? Is it going to look completely different, like from what it looks like to you? What
Right.
I might be stuck in my life right now, you probably may have just overcome, or vice versa. But I love the conversations on Let's Get Unstuck because every single story that is being read, there is a form of being stuck somewhere within it.
Mm.
And it's what you hear the person tell you as to, you know, so this was my next step, or this is what I did. And maybe that answer always isn't always provided. I'm getting better at the fact of I'm trying to wrap it up at the end where I'm saying, can we give like, let's just, there is this stuck moment that you're in, but let's bring it around so somebody has
Right.
something to move forward with. But that's why I like this concept because it's so dimensional and there's so many layers to it. It doesn't say it has to be about motherhood or it has to be about like this career or it has to be about caregiving or anything. It's everything. Everything's welcome. So
Because everything is a part of our lives, you know, like we none of us are just pigeonholed to one situation. But I wanted to welcome in Rebecca and Quillink because I know Quillink said that she was a big fan of ours. So I'm glad you
I
ran.
love her. I just met her. I know. There's so many. Yeah.
But
Thanks,
I mean,
everyone.
we have Elijah, Monday's wife, that joined us. Mac Devlin. I appreciate your comments, and I will do my best to try to keep up with them and you know, ask. Let's get unstuck some questions so we all learn something together today.
Yeah, we've
Uh,
had you have 20 and I've answered one.
Yeah, so, okay, I usually do this thing where I was supposed to actually explain what, theater room is in the beginning, and sometimes I completely forgot to do that, but I do curate 20 questions
Okay.
for each individual co-host, but we never get to them, so
Okay.
20 questions are really just like, "Hey, just in case we need something to talk about," you know, because I like, that's this type of podcast, is like, we go everywhere, and, I have questions about everything from your writing to the live series that you do, to your blog, to
Mm.
just like, you know, regular, degular stuff that because you're just a human like me too. So,
Yeah,
with that being said, I do kind of
let's
want to
go ahead.
shift a little bit real quick into your most recent post because I just read it today, so it's resonant very much with me, and I do want to take a second to kind of welcome in the other ladies that may also feel connected to it. So you wrote why I thought motherhood wasn't for me.
Mm.
Um, was there a specific moment, realization, or experience that pushed that piece out of you?
Yeah. Was it? I swear it was. I think it was Lynn. I think it was Lynn Broderick. She's on Substack,
Mhm.
and Lynn, who is a part of this 4-part motherhood series that I decided to launch. I read an article or a newsletter post. What I don't know. What do we call it? These I don't know. What do we call them? You know,
I don't know.
stories,
I say post, but people say
post.
pieces, like
Yeah,
newsletters, publications. I don't know, but
piece,
you read
whatever.
one of her
Yeah,
stuff.
her stories, and it's actually going to be her story that's gonna be told on, the podcast, but it's already out. And it was her version of what motherhood looked like from her through, you know, trying with fertilities to the adoption process.
Mm,
And it just connected with me, and it made me so emotional because, you know, she takes you on this journey of, like, how difficult, you know, her process was, but to how difficult adoption was. And the reason why that resonates with me is because my husband and I have spoken about adoption or fostering to start. And then, so when I read it, I was just like, you know what? Maybe because you don't have a child and you are not traditionally a mother and that view, if you will, maybe it's time that you explore that reason as to why and what part of you do you have to offer that is nurturing and how do you do it?
mm.
So It was her. I pick her. Lynn, if you're here, it's you.
Shoot, it's all your fault. No, just kidding. But now I feel like I have to go read that piece because I am somebody else who, like, when I was a kid,
Mm,
like little before I ever even said I was a lesbian or anything like that, I was just like, no, I don't want to have my own kid. Like,
mm-mm.
that's not for me. I said, why wouldn't I want to adopt? Like, why wouldn't I wanna, like, give a home to a child that needs a home than to be, quote, unquote, "selfish" to have one come out of me just because it would look like me? So I always said, like, I was, like, 8, I was like, "Oh, I wanna adopt." And then, obviously, later in life, as I continue to grow up, I realized how difficult even that is too, and how
Yeah.
that you can be waiting for a really long time, and there can be a lot of disappointments within that, and, um, there's a lot of heartache when it comes to just that as well. So then I shifted to, I'll just foster, and what I'll foster is 17-year-olds about to age out, so that they, for the first time in their life, they get, like, their own room, and they know what a bed is, and they don't
Mhm.
have to, like, worry about shit like that, and just kinda, like, help them into the next part of their life. Because maybe that's what I'm really meant to do. Like
Mhm.
me and like babies, like, I don't know if that's like totally my jam,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, I mean,
So
there's so many layers to that too, and you and I kind of we align on that a lot because one of our my husband and I's mutual friends, she had said, I said to her, she's like, "So you're not going to have children?" And I said, "Not the traditional way. I'm not going to
mm,
birth a child. To be quite honest with you, infants freak me out, and I didn't like holding my nieces and nephew when they were born because they're just so tiny and fragile, and I'm just so not tiny and fragile, and I am." I said, I'm like, if I am to adopt or foster, I want to adopt a child or a teenager later in life because I feel like everybody has the want to adopt an infant or a newborn. And I feel like the youth and the younger adults are the ones who get kind of, they don't get the opportunity that you could actually change their life and give them the chance to really thrive into that next chapter. And so for me, it was always looking at that later part in life, but then the adoption process, to your point, I mean, it shouldn't be that hard to wanna care and love for somebody who needs that, and it's so sad that it is.
I mean, like, I understand, like, there are qualifications and things that,
Of
you need
course.
to check within people, like, backgrounds or financial or, like, what does the home even look like? I get it, like, sure,
Mhm,
like, certain you have expectations because yes, you are gonna be caring for a whole human, but sometimes I just feel like past that, like, it's just, why is it as complicated as it needs to be, and why can't it move a lot quicker? And I know that there are a lot of reasons why, but, like, to the normal person over here that doesn't really understand all of it, it's just, like, frustrating because that, like, every day that it takes is just another day that a child is sitting and waiting to be
mhm,
loved or to be appreciated or to show, kinda how to maneuver through this life. I didn't really think that you would also be aligned with, "Hey, teenager."
mhm,
Right? Like, I really, because I feel like that's when, like, my life kinda went, like, whatever to the left. Like, if I had somebody that was really safe and didn't talk to me like I was a kid, but also, understood that I wasn't an adult, so, like,
mhm.
guided me, but not held my hand up, then maybe necessarily, like, I do feel like those people make big difference in the adults that they turn out to be, so I definitely would wanna impact somebody in that type of way.
I mean, I questioned some myself why teenagers a lot because I was such an asshole when I was a teenager. I was so shitty, and I put my parents through so much stuff. And I'm thinking, and my nieces and nephews, like, God, I love them so much, but they're little shits too. They're teenagers now, and I'm like. And I look at him and I'm just like, oh, I swear, if you were my kid, oh, these would not be no, no. And then I look at the fact of, wait a minute, you want to go out and you want to adopt a 17-year-old or a 16-year-old that, has been through crazy neglect, abuse, whatever it may be. You think that that's gonna be, and all my
This
friends are
year?
like, yeah, they're like, "Oh, you're gonna breeze through that one," and that's definitely not the case, but it's the fact that, like, for me, it's worth the fight to help. I don't know.
No, I totally get that. Real quick though, Kaz, Christina, Chelsea, Sydney, thanks for joining.
Mm.
Chelsea and Alexi say hello, hello. Um, yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like I'm so bad because I do this horrible thing where I'm like, oh, let me compare the thing that I know really well to the thing I don't know really well. And obviously, let me compare me adopting a dog to me adopting a child. Like, and I don't mean to do that, so please don't, like, take it,
No.
like, verbatim, whatever, but when I think about Onyx and the fact that he was in a foster home for
No.
a good majority of his life, and I didn't get him till he was 10 months old, it was very interesting to, like, for both of us to, like, learn how to trust each other, learn how to, like, do things. And it's not like he initially off the bat trusted me or wanted to be next to me. Like, he didn't care about me at all. Now he,
Mhm.
like, lays behind me, but, like, it was very distant. And even I found myself, like, the first couple of weeks, like, I don't even know you. Like, you're in my house in my bed and I don't even know you. Like, it was like a weird, like thing. So I mean, like, I try to tell myself if I could cultivate a bond with something that can't understand me, I feel like I could do that with a whole living, breathing human that I would be able to better articulate and not and understand and empathize with
Yeah.
because, yeah, I've been a teenager. Yes, I know that being talked to in a certain way is not really what you need at certain times. But
Mhm.
yeah, it's a tough thing. I mean, I think it's a beautiful challenge to wanna give yourself.
I think that having I mean, I know we're not comparing dog to child, but I
No,
mean,
we
I
never
do I mean, but, th the dog can't speak to you. The dog can't really fully hear you. Like, I mean, like, it's hard having an animal, and I think that I'm sorry, moms out there with babies. We're not just
Steal children. Yes, yes,
yeah,
yes.
I'm just saying that it's, you kinda it is a different type of you've gotta teach yourself how to communicate with this animal and
Yeah.
to gain their love and trust, and I think that that's kind of a cool thing when you see that happen. Like, I love my Lucy.
Yeah, but it didn't I'm not saying, like, you might have instantly, like, loved, adored her because she's just adorable and cute, but that bond is created over time, and I just
Mhm.
feel like when we're talking about relationships or bonds or something like that, like, that's why I always lean to the ones that I know, and that's the ones that I've created with my dogs because, like, it is about consistency. It is about showing up in the same ways over and over for one another, like, and those are the things that I pull from and I learn from to integrate into my living, breathing human relationships because
Mhm.
we learn so much from them, and they teach us so much without saying a goddamn word, and I think that's fucking fascinating, so
It really is.
sorry, not sorry. Um, Notes from the in between, Kevin. Hannah, thanks for joining us. If anybody has any questions, that you can always utilize the chat as well. I'm not the only one with questions, so if you want to share, you can. Um, but I'm gonna kind of shift gears a little bit just because I like to jump around.
Yeah.
You also have a blog. What's the biggest difference between what you choose to share there versus what you share on Substack, or is there no difference?
It's actually it's I think what it is there's just more to it. Like, the blog so Let's Get Unstuck blog, which is separate from Substack. I have everything's free. You just subscribe. It gives people an opportunity to subscribe or to share their story. I'll read the story, make sure that it aligns with the purpose of the blog, and I'll post it. It's for me to share your story so other people out there can hear. It's the same as Substack. It's just another avenue.
Yeah.
And then on there, I've also found a bunch of podcasts that I have felt have been very helpful for me during this journey and as I continue to work with getting unstuck. And I find like little segments and clips from Instagram. So I have like all of those on there for people to listen to, which I can't bring over here on Substack to do. And then on there is where I have an interview and media tab, which is where I have all of my podcasts. So anytime I do a podcast with someone, I take their link and I put it over there. So it's another way to promote the people that I work with or meet here or collaborate with to get
I
their
love
work.
that I love that you do that.
It's just I am I know it sounds cheesy, but
Like,
I am truly people's big cheerleader. Like, and that's
yeah.
like if you were to ask my friends, it's one thing about Tracy that like she's always going to cheer you on because she wants to see you succeed. She wants to see you do good. And like for the people that I've met here and interview here, and that I meet constantly, I feel the same way. If if it's using their story and adding it to my other blog, and for some reason gets them exposure to get them somewhere further along, I will be so happy. It hasn't happened yet because it's newer. I just started it in May, but it's getting there.
I know, but it's still like
Mm,
another platform, and I mean, the whole reason why I
yeah.
created the Inner Room was to interview the creative and amazing writers that are on this platform because
Yeah.
there's so many of you fucking people, and I
So
wanted
many.
to continue to highlight other people's stories. Not that, I think I'm better than anybody or anything like that. I genuinely enjoy getting to know people here, and I genuinely feel like through my writing, I share so much about myself.
Mhm.
So, like, you can read anything, and I swear to God, I have not hid anything for you. But like, I wanted to have this other avenue where it's not necessarily my voice, it's other people's voices and continue to build the community that is so beautiful on Substack anyway. So I'm very grateful that you get to be a part of it, my friend, and I get to be a
I
part
love
of
it.
this.
Yeah, I love it. I know, and I can't wait to turn this script on you and it be
Yeah. I have literally not agreed to any type of interview. I don't know how I've gotten away with this for so long at this point. Um, but, you brought something up yeah, yeah. You brought something up, about your friend. So what's something people often assume about you that isn't actually true?
Um, oh, that isn't actually true. Um, that's a good question. I don't know. I don't know.
That
I
means
honestly
that means that you haven't had anybody, like, look at you sideways or whatever
Oh, no,
ever.
I'm sure people look at me sideways. I just don't know I don't know what that would be. I ask it again?
What's something people often assume about you that isn't actually true?
Um, I should ask my husband that question. I'm sure he'll have an answer for me.
I'm sure. We can always come back to that one.
Come back to
I
that
like
one.
I like that question because, I mean, for me in my life specifically, I have a very resting bitch face. So I think off like, if people don't know me and they look at the exterior of me, they don't think teddy bear. And what I actually am is just the squishiest, like, teddy bear that you'd ever meet. So I think that that's why I enjoy that conversation, like, that question, because it's just like, people do judge books by their cover, and people just look at me and
Mhm.
have, like, these assumptions about the type of human I am, and, like, I've been approached by people, like, in an aggressive fashion because they think that I'm ready to fight them or something, and I'm like, "Hey, how are you?"
Yeah.
You know? I open my mouth and I'm like, "Hey!" Like, it's such a ridiculous situation, and most of the time, like, I find it hilarious now, like, everything that I've kind of built into myself is just like, wow, people really, like, think a certain thing, and then I literally open my mouth and it probably, like, blows their fucking mind.
I mean, the only thing I could think of that one time somebody said to me is they're like, Trace, you're just a really intriguing person." And I'm like, "Am I?"
I don't think that's true.
I go, "Am I?" Well, that's all. I didn't really
No.
I go, "I am? Oh, okay." I was like, "Thank you." I'm like, "I'm not sure if I should take that as a compliment or not," but I mean, like, I just I never found myself as that type of I don't know.
Sure.
So does that fit in that category of what you
Yeah, like,
just
definitely. I
asked?
think you're intriguing. Like, I think there are levels to you. I don't think that, like, you're one dimensional. I think that people would absolutely have to
Mhm.
continue to have conversations with you to learn everything about you. But like you just said though, like, you're not somebody that can be put in a pigeonhole. So that means you just have a lot of different things about you or characteristics about you that are intriguing.
Mm, there you go.
I kind of love that though. All right, cool. How did you originally find your way to Substack? Because this is the question that I ask everybody
Mm.
yet to ask you.
I love that you say axe, by the way, because my
Oh,
best
yeah,
friend's from Jersey and she's been here for like 18 years and she still has this Long Island accent. She's like, "I want to ask you a question." I'm all Carrie. It's like,
I know it's ask. I'm sorry.
no, I love it. It just you just made me think of her. Sorry.
No, I love that.
So I started Substack because the story about my old boss is
Mhm.
that she's in prison for the next 15 years of her life because she's now known as the largest female Ponzi scheme in the history of the US. And I was her she was my
Right.
she was my mentor, she was my everything for 10 years. It's so fucking wild.
That is so
Anyhow,
wild to think that
it's
you
so
worked for a
wild.
woman for 10 years that is now known as that.
Yeah.
Yo, see, that's why you're intriguing, motherfucker.
I guess so. Okay, that intriguing question that comment came, like, in high school. Like, this has
Well,
happened,
you've
like
definitely
yeah,
developed even more into it then.
yeah. So I have a writing partner, and my husband's also in TV media, and my husband and I and my writing partner, we started to write a treatment because we're like, "This is gonna be a story somebody's gonna have to tell." But my story was never told, so I kept it from, America's greed, American greed. They wanted me to go on and do the thing with them. I said no. Like, I've been hit up by certain authors to be a part of books. I said no. I didn't tell my story for 5 years. To be honest with you, I didn't start telling my story publicly until May of 2025 when I started this whole thing. Um, because I was destroyed by it because she was literally the closest thing to blood to me, and or
Mm.
so I thought. And so when that relationship was let's say canceled without my my doing, I just started to write. And so we wrote this treatment. We wanted to pitch it to Netflix and pitch it to a couple other streaming platforms, which is still kind of in the making. We're tweaking a couple things here. And my friend, she's like, "You got to put this on Substack." She's like, "You got to start writing." And I'm like, "What the hell is Substack?" And she told me, and I was like, "Okay, I don't know if I'm gonna be any good at this." But I just thank God for her, and I thank her every day. I was like, "You literally helped me work through this place of being stuck without even knowing that you were doing that." And so I just started to write my story out about my relationship with her and just how dimensional, we'll use the word again, and layered it is. And that kind of just started me opening up to, meeting more people and or connecting with more people, meeting more and realizing that we all got these insane stories. And I just felt for once I had this like community of like support. And I felt like I was in a place of not being judged and that I could tell this story without, just certain spotlights or certain, yeah, just judgment. And then it just started to flow out in all these other topics that I've been stuck with or working to get unstuck with. And it just started to start spilling out and I started writing about all kinds of different things.
I mean, I genuinely can't imagine, how it would feel to quite literally get the rug pulled out from underneath me
Yeah.
by somebody that I was, like, a decade into an
Mhm.
actual relationship. So, do you feel like there is something right now that you're struggling with still because of that kind of failed relationship kind of situation that you were in, that you found yourself in, but no fault of your own? Like, do you like, I don't
No.
want
Mm-mm.
did you ever, like, blame you? Like, "Oh, how did I not see this?" Or, well, like,
No.
I
Well, I
feel like
mean,
that's the unhealthy part of what humans naturally do. Like, "Why did I not notice this sooner?" Or
I
whatever.
think what it is, and because I started writing different articles recently for LinkedIn
Mm,
about this and about relationships with uh, CEOs, founders of businesses, and just red flags and why didn't you recognize these red flags sooner, or maybe you knew they were red flags but why didn't you speak up about the red flags,
right.
or your red flags were actually rewards that you would get, like going to suites, all expense paid trips, like things that you didn't think about because you thought, oh hey, I'm so close to this person, this is actually an actual true relationship that I have with them, both
Not like
business and professional.
blackmail.
Right. I mean, but and the reality is my husband and I invested in it.
Yeah.
And she took the money with no problem out of our hands, knowing that we were saving every penny to invest it into our first home together. And she didn't care even leading up to already knowing that she was being arrested. She was still taking checks from us. So you know, I don't know, did that answer that question or I just go on a tangent? Because that
I
conversation
don't care. I literally will not ask you another damn question, and we could just continue to have no, just kidding.
we could
Yeah.
this can go for days. There's so many
I know, but
answers.
again, like, this is a part of your story that is, like, super intriguing to me
Mhm.
because not a lot of us, or maybe not a lot of us to this capacity, right? Where you're investing money into businesses with a partner and you think like, "Oh, this is my friend, this is my mentor, this is my, you know, confidant," and then all of a sudden you find out the reality of this person and, like, the mask gets taken off and everything's exposed to you, and,
Mhm.
like, you have to process all that, and, like, without it turning inwards into, "Why didn't I notice the red flags? What were the red flags?" So to hear that you are taking
Mhm.
like that and now helping other people identify them sooner, that's
Yeah.
the
That
alchemy of it all, I guess?
yeah. Yeah, I mean, and it's the it's not that I didn't see them, because I did see them. I just kind of categorized them differently. I didn't really and I knew I didn't know who I would be without her and that job. And I wasn't sure if I left that job. No, listen, you stay with mommy. I need moral support. If I left that job, I didn't know where I would go, and because she had such a, everybody knew who she was, that if I did anything wrong by her, that would she destroy me if what if I didn't stay with her. So there was this really fucked up line of loyalty and self-worth, and finding that I gave up a lot of my self-worth for loyalty. And it shouldn't have been that way.
I mean, again, maybe not everybody has experienced it to that capacity, but I do think a lot of people can resonate with the fact that they have found themselves in situations where they have ignored their own intuition or they've had their own fear of what the fuck am I going to be then after this, and it's kept them in a smaller space than for a longer period of time than they hoped for. So I mean, to hear you talk about it is definitely, helping other people identify their own situation,
Mm,
whether it's I don't think it's ever gonna be exactly that, but it's
mm-mm.
definitely, parallel to what a lot of people experience, you know. Because I mean, I've experienced that, like, just in a quote, unquote, like, partnership love relationship
Mhm,
where, I'm so tied to that other person, and I think, "Well, what is my life gonna be if I don't have that other person here?" And that fear alone keeps me like, "Let me just make them happy. They'll stay
mhm.
forever." Right? So, like, we all have our own little versions of that, so
Oh, I mean, she would be like, here's this. Take this. Oh, wait, you want the holiday house for the weekend? Go here. You want tickets to this concert? Oh, here. You want this sweet?" Like, there were all of those. And like I had said a moment ago, I thought that those rewards were just genuine gifts. Where now I sometimes look back and go, but were those rewards more red flags because she was just trying to keep you there because she knew that I would pretty much do anything for her.
right.
And so,
Well, that's why she is where she is, and karma will continue to find her.
yeah, she is behind some serious metal bars right now for a very long time. Oh, man. Hmm.
Um, well, shifting to a little bit lighter of a situation,
Oh my
has
god.
hosting your live series changed how you listen to other people's stories or even your own?
Have posting my lives or
Has
hosting?
hosting your live series changed how you listen to other people's stories or even your own?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I just the reason for the reason why I do the lives the way that I do them is because, well, one, I have a hard time comprehending when I read. And maybe that's just the fact that I never, like, really was a big reader and just struggled trying to understand things that I've read. And so when I read somebody's story, I feel one way, but when I hear somebody speak their story and I can hear the emotion behind it and I can see the expression on their face, and I feel like there's another emotional layer there that I don't get when I read it, and then I just think that there's some power behind that. So I love the fact that, yeah, sometimes they can be a longer version of a story than the person the week before, but every person gets the same amount of respect and attention and appreciation and gratitude and all of it wrapped up in a bow when they come on, because I think it takes courage. What I actually have been realizing a lot more lately, is that the been a handful in the last 10, like, no, there's been a handful that have not done it before, or did a live but never wanted to show their face, or never told their story because it was so hard to tell. And knowing that I have that type of personality or that type of open space, that safe place for them to do it, that means everything to me.
Well, I definitely do enjoy that you, allow space for people to read their work because of what you're saying. I have, like, undiagnosed ADHD, so sometimes I have to read something 5 times before it actually sinks, and that's,
Mm.
like sometimes I don't have the time all the time to read something that many times, so to uniquely to do to hear people I love her.
She's like, as if I'm not in the middle of something. She's just,
Well, she's like, "You said you needed moral support, so I'm in your face now, okay? I
That's
got you, boo."
touche, Lucy.
She's just doing what she was told to do. But yeah, I do like that, uniqueness of
Right.
your space. I think that's something that I take advantage of a lot on Substack is when people attach audio or, like, I'll hit, like, the generic little and I'll listen to somebody read the thing. So, I do believe that sometimes listening to a story, like, read to you
Mhm.
as opposed to reading it definitely impacts in a very unique way. So, I can very much appreciate that you have that platform. How do people submit or do you, like, go and look?
Ooh, I go on the hunt.
Yeah? Is
No,
it is it usually like, "Oh, this thing made me cry," or "This thing invoked an emotion in me, so I need to reach out to this person
I
and get their"
do it's actually turned into a bit of both. I mean, at first it was about, I just one of my notes, you know how sometimes notes will, like, you'll hear crickets and then you'll get, like, like, super popular ones? One
like
of
that.
my Yeah, one of mine came out, I think it was why about reading or why do you write? And all of a sudden, people started flooding it with their stories, which I was like, "Oh, okay, this is cool." So I was genuinely reading every single story that came through. And then it just got out of like, it started getting really crazy, and I was like, "I can only read so much." And so the ones that I read and, slowly had to read so I could fully make sure I'm grasping what I'm reading, I would reach out to when I finally had the guts to do the podcast and asked if they would read their story live, and it just kind of evolved into, just evolved from there. But then, after doing a bunch of them, I have people that have sent me emails, like even just recently saying, "Hey, I'd love to be on your podcast." So I think it's kind of cool what it's evolving into. But I don't. It has to be aligned. Like I can't just have some come on and just
Well, it had to be
tell.
aligned to getting unstuck, right? They're like, because
Yeah.
like you said, most of these stories, maybe even these authors don't realize that they were stuck in something,
Mhm.
but you're able to identify that and, like, you have a Q&A afterwards too, so it allows
Well, the
people
yeah, the Q&As were geared toward, and I think I'm actually, because I'm growing at this. I'm new at it. I just know I love doing it. But the Q&As were geared toward the questions that reflect back into moments of the story
right.
and where they were at in the story. But I do believe now, like I started to like change the last question of which it makes sense to change the last question is out asking people like, for somebody else who's in the situation or who might have been going through the situation, like what would you advise them on, your next steps at working toward getting unstuck? But again, I like to leave it open because unstuck is just going to look different for everybody else. I mean, I could tell you that getting up in the morning and walking every single day is an absolute game changer for me and my mood. And if I don't do it, you're going to see a completely different side of me. Is that going to work for you? No. But that's why it's like people are like, "So are you coaching? You therapying?" I'm not doing any of that. I'm not a coach. I'm not a
Just
therapist.
creating a safe space, that's
I'm
all.
like, it's a safe place for
Yeah.
a safe space for conversations.
Just a fun fact, if I lived in San Diego, waking up every day and going for a walk would make me happy too, yeah.
Yeah.
Just 'cause I literally was having this conversation, like, ooh, I think it was, where I was like, the sun quite literally will affect my mood. If it is not in
Mm.
existence, I'm not as happy.
Yeah. Well, for what it's worth, I was born and raised in Ohio, in Youngstown, so it was
Okay,
very
well, that makes me
cold.
feel a little bit weather. Wait, a little bit better then. But yeah, I one day I'll get to the West Coast. I swear I will. I swear I will.
Yeah,
I wanna do like the east to west drive.
mhm.
That's why I have my Subaru and I was like, my dog, and I was like, "We'll do it and we'll stop in all of the fun states along the way." But then I'm like, "Oh, I like when I get up after this interview and be like, yo, I need to like stretch. My whole body hurts." So I'm like, how am I gonna sit in a car for like 6 hours at a time? You
I
know?
actually did a podcast with somebody who she called me while she was literally road tripping, like, with her boyfriend, like, throughout. I was like, "This is kinda cool that you're just, like, popping up your your camera and you're just, exploring life and you're just taking time to have your little podcast."
I mean, I think those are like the best. I had this like Krista do some silly stuff like that. She was outside in a park during our first conversation in the inner room. So I look forward to having her back and what shenanigans we get into next. um, all right. So you're so used to guiding conversations in your own life series. How does it feel to be the one answering the questions today?
Well, I mean, you saw me struggle already. I have a hard time answering some questions when it takes when you're on the spot and you have to self-reflect, you're kind of like, "Hmm, it's different." I told you it makes me a little nervous. I'm not used to being the one on the other side, and it's I'm having to, submit my control.
Well, thank you for giving it to me just for, like, it's been like 45 minutes, so I can very much appreciate, having that. Like I said, I feel uniquely blessed to get the opportunity to interview you because, um, like I said to you, which I love that you quoted in a note, your story matters, your story makes a difference to other people, and I love to be the person that gets the opportunity to kinda highlight that a little bit because you do that so well for so many other people, so it's
Mm.
so cool to actually get to do that for you, and like I said, I feel honored that you said yes to me because 'cause I'm a stranger to everybody I do this to, so so it really makes me happy that I'm able to, get people comfortable enough to share bits of themselves for
Well,
other people. Joy.
yeah, and I 'cause I did, I liked what you said, and you said it the other day when we were messaging just about, you always give space for other people, and it's time for you to have that in return, and I was just like, "Oh, that's kinda cool." I was like, Thanks." Like, I like that.
Well, my aunt is a beautiful soul, and I never got to know her mother, my grandmother, because unfortunately our family lost her at a really young age.
Mm,
But I like to think that her spirit is very much in my aunt, and my aunt likes to believe that, you know, what you put out does come back to you. So it's always pays to be a good human, you know.
right.
So I I'm very grateful for the fact that, like I said, so many people trust me enough, or naively don't and just say yes to me often for whatever reason. But like it's super cool for me because usually these conversations are ones that I need to,
Mhm.
so that's why I enjoy them so much. All
I think
right, before go
that's
ahead.
interesting, though, that you say that, like, the stories that you hear were stories that you need to hear.
Yeah.
It's because there's so many heavy stories, and and they all they all deserve to be heard. And you're right. Like, I feel like I feel even though, like, I've not been through not even half of what I've read or people have been through so much stuff. It's still like I still love I still love what it hearing them speak and hearing them get this out and hearing that what it does for them. Like, it just really it does something for me. I
Well, I
don't know.
mean, you talked about, like, you had a whole moment because you heard something about with Mel Robbins and Jay Shetty, and those are 2 people that, like, actively communicate in a very unique way that continues to raise other people's bars in the way that they communicate with others too, and how they see other humans. So, I think when you surround yourself with people that are resilient and are unapologetically them and are not afraid to share what they've been through, it allows you to kinda continue to have this perspective and hope on just the world at a larger view,
Mhm.
that there are amazing humans out there that have, like we could feel sorry for ourselves every day, all the time, right? Like, oh, I've been through so much, like my life has been a hot fucking mess, and I don't know how I'm ever going to survive it. But then you get a perspective shift of, well, this person, is doing this, or this person survived this, and it's not like that you're not creating the space for yourself, but it helps you also see like, wow, we all and then the way that we view humans then is different because you have a different respect to understand that like we all were set on our own journey with our own paths, with our own pain to learn our own fucking lessons. And the more we share them, the more we learn, even about ourselves. That's why I said sometimes these conversations really mirror things within me that I need to unpack or deal or talk about or not talk about or whatever the case may be. So um
I've had a lot of aha moments where I'm like, "Oh, dang, I'm gonna need to revisit that one in me." You just said something that just triggered and not triggered, like, in a negative way, but, like, triggered a
right.
thought, like a feeling, and that it does. It makes me go back and have that aha moment going, "Okay, I have not worked through this quite well yet. Something I need a therapy up on."
Well, I mean, somebody recently told me like most of our issues are relational issues, and the only way to work through
Mhm.
those relational issues is to expose yourself to other relational issues, like relations where maybe the same things kind of come up in context, but it's handled differently, and then you handle it differently, and, like, that's how we ever grow. So if you're constantly sheltering yourself or turning yourself away from, society or human interaction or whatever the case may be, you're limiting your own ability to continue to move forward. That's kind
Mm,
of just how I see things. So,
amen.
yeah.
Amen.
We might not, like, all agree on the same fucking thing, but, if we just were at least open-minded to hear each other out, we might learn something that we need, internally, so that's why we're here.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Alright, before
I
we wrap this up, what? Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I feel like I'm constantly learning. Being on
Good.
Substack, I genuinely feel like I am constantly learning something new every day about someone, something that they went through, a way that something happened to them, like, where, sometimes you feel bad 'cause you're writing about something so heavy and harsh, but then somebody writes the most gorgeous comment about it being what you wrote, and then you're like, "With all due love and respect, thank you for telling me this. I'm glad to know that this relates to you." But it's like, no, I mean, but it's shit that this happened to you, but I'm glad that it's connected to you. Like, and I get the whole to be seen and to be heard. And I genuinely believe that. But I mean, I also feel kind of bad when you have those comments where it's like, I went through the same thing or I went through something similar. And it's just like, I just want to hold you and hug you and tell you I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, I
I
I
don't know how
love
to
that we have
respond to those.
we have similar reactions because 'cause I'm always like, um I'm sorry that this resonated with you, but I'm glad that it did in a way that could continue to help you move forward.
Yeah.
Like, I also sometimes am like, I hate that you know what I'm talking about. But just like we've proven to ourselves, like, nobody can really protect anybody, no matter how hard they try. Like, we're all gonna go through our own shitty shit because it's gonna make us whatever human we're supposed to become anyway. So, you know, I genuinely have to believe that every wrong step or different turn or fall down or whatever the case might be has arrived me here to be able to hold space in the ways that I can for other people, and, I wouldn't change it for a goddamn second.
Mm-mm.
Maybe learn some things a little bit sooner so I didn't have to keep reoccurring them, but, sometimes bitch be stubborn. I'd be stubborn sometimes. What are you gonna do about it?
Oh, I feel you on that. There's, but I also think through the comments is where I built relationships too. Like that's where a lot of with my podcast, I've met a few doctors that have commented through whether I've written about body dysmorphia because I've struggled with body dysmorphia a good portion of my life, or walking on eggshells of being, writing about relationships, about abuse, and so when you get those comments that they're so relatable that it's like, hey, actually, you have a similar story, and they'll share it with me, and then I'm like, we're very aligned, which helps. You asked me the question earlier, how's that process work with finding people, and that's another way.
Mm, yeah. Well, I love that. I mean, I hate that so many people have so
Yeah,
many stucky situations, but I love that
totally.
you're able to bring it to light because it is this, like, a pay it forward system or a tidal wave that comes of, like, look at all of these people that are aligned in something that are helping each other kinda continue to move forward, and it's a beautiful thing to witness, to be a part of, uh, to see with my own damn 2 eyes. Substack is really freaking different,
Hmm.
from any platform that I've, experienced anything on. Like, I don't think I've ever come across so many genuine human beings that genuinely wanna see other people succeed. So,
Yeah,
you know,
I love
happy
it.
happy to be here.
I'm the same. It's the same way with you. It's like I fought for so long. I'm like, I'm not going to do an Instagram for Let's Get Unstuck. I'm not going to do Facebook for Let's Get Unstuck. I'm just going to do this traditional path of blogging on my website and then blogging on Substack, and that's it. And then I just realized, okay, somebody talked me into it. They're like, create it. Like, you need the momentum. Like, you need to get more. If you really want to create this goodness for people, like, you've got to have more outlets to do it. So I was like, okay. I felt really odd doing it, but I'm glad I did it. So it's like,
I'm glad you did
but,
it
but,
too.
but my people, when I'm full circle here, but my people are all Substack based. Like, I love this community so much. Like, I'm so blessed that Substack's here.
Me too.
Honestly.
I think it's interesting that you said that because I also, like, I have, like, I have a Facebook, I have an Instagram, I have I have a TikTok that I've been dormant on for 4 years that has it has almost 16,000 people on it.
Wow.
And I'm over here like, I refuse to even download the app, and then one day it was just like, it's okay to have home base and Substack.
Yeah.
It would be a disservice to not have bridges leading to it.
Yeah.
And that's just kinda how I see it, even though I know that, like, I do not have the capacity to actively be on Substack all day, Instagram all day, TikTok all day, Facebook all day. Like, there ain't no way this bitch is showing up on all of them, but,
No.
you know, again, it's just that quote that you said that if you wanted to share, you just put a little bit every day in each one of your little buckets, your seed
Oh,
will eventually grow.
yeah, that was Rob Dial Jr., and if I go to find him again actually, I have my Instagram here. It was literally one of the best quotes. I mean, it basically because what were we talking about before we jumped on here is self-sabotage and, uh, and giving up on things, um, when they get hard. And, he had a great comment that it said I don't know if I can switch my gears here. Maybe I can. Oh, maybe I can't. I don't know. Anyway, he was just basically talking about, like, don't give up, and even when it gets hard, just keep going, and even if it's a little bit every day, keep going because what was it? If you don't what did he say? If you don't keep going, like, that's the only time you're gonna lose.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't remember verbatim either just because I have, like, horrible memory, but, like, it was to
To
that
that
gist of it, like
extent.
I said,
Yeah.
like, you don't have to pour yourself into every avenue that you've created for Let's Get Unstuck, but you do have to consistently show up for each one of them, at least a little bit of something every day, and
Mm,
it'll over time, it'll all lead to your greater purpose of getting out there to continue to help more people at the end of the day.
mm.
So, I think you're doing tremendous work here on Substack, and,
Thank
I
you.
think the rest will continue to follow. Before we wrap it up, though, I do have one simple kind of question for you.
Oh, great. These are the hard ones.
Uh, when you think about the long game, what do you hope people walk away with after spending time with your writing?
Um, I just want to walk away with that it was honest, that it's truthful, that it's coming from a place of not being afraid. It's coming from a place of, really genuinely wanting to kind of free myself from feeling something that I've felt previously because I write about previous circumstances. I I want to give somebody hope. I want them to feel like I've provided, you know, not like saying the next step, but like, or maybe it is the next step, or just providing enough for them to know that they're not alone. And honestly, that you just, I don't know, that there's just, I keep saying, just the word hope keeps pulling up. Just don't give up and that there's hope. And you just have to find what that next step looks like for you.
I think you made you something that you don't even realize that you do by surviving and living through the things that you've lived through and be able to talk about them. You inspire others that they can also get through those things. So,
Mhm.
you're more inspirational than you may give yourself credit for.
Thanks. What she said, just make it come out of my
Just
mouth.
in case you didn't know, that's getting unstuck. But also, Tracy is a very inspirational woman who has survived a multitude of different things, and we barely got like to scratch the surface in this whole interview. So, I hope that we can continue to keep in touch, and I get another opportunity to maybe dig deeper if you let me.
I will. I just gotta be now that I've done this and I know what kind of questions may come up, I'll be a little bit more maybe have a little bit more of a relaxed mind.
I mean, again, I give all the respect in the world to every single one of my co-hosts because you guys don't know me from a hole in the wall. You don't know the questions that I'm going to ask you. All you know is that your job is to answer them authentically and as real as possible. And I think you did an amazing job today. I
Ah,
really should.
thank you. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Well, I don't know if anybody has anything. I'm really sorry to my chat today. I did not do a good job of spending time in there. But I have appreciated the conversation with you, my friend. And With that being said, you've been in the inner room where the conversations go deep, the connections surprise, and the truths linger long after the world quiets down. Until next time, keep listening inward because that's where the stories that shape us really live. I hope you all have a beautiful day, night, and we'll be in touch, my friend. Bye.